Are we alive?
Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Hello.
Let's start it.
We could be alive. We could also not be alive. I don't know, but that's cool. Whatever. Who cares? Welcome to a live summit where anything can happen and all your dreams, they can't. I'm sorry, we can't make anyone's dreams come true. But, you know, if your dream was to watch a live summit, then we got one. All right. Joining us for this awesome summit where we are going to cover so many matches. We've got a great panel. Malcolm Lay, always available for summits and everything else. Malcolm, how are you?
Pretty good. Just ready to talk about craziness that happened.
Absolutely. Same as always. Matt Kearns, he was very, very happy with part of what happened at the collision. How's it going, Matt?
Part of me is feeling really good that I get to say I told you so to a lot of people. And then the other part wants to just curl in a ball and kind of just cry. But, so we're there.
Don't we all? And last but not least, crying in a corner because Matt made him feel bad. Our newest Take 3 member, Robert Parker.
Whoa!
How's it going?
Excuse me.
It's doing really well.
You made him feel bad.
No, Matt told me I'm not allowed to look at him for the rest of the summit. I'm not allowed to actually make eye contact.
What are you doing?
So
turn around.
I'm here ready to talk about all the craziness that happened this weekend. I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah. Perfect. Matt is a bit of a diva. It's cool.
I'm not a diva. Listen, this is a lot of people didn't know me and Rob had a little bet going on for the collision, and no, we did it. Probably should. Looking back, I wish I would have made a bet.
We should have made bets. What were we thinking?
Fuck.
Lame.
What? Man, damn it. All right. Well,
some of you guys are old enough to gamble, so I'm just.
Wait, I think everyone on this panel is old enough to
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I just like to pretend like you guys are all
21 is the age to gamble.
Child.
We're all 21 or older on this panel.
I turned 20 yesterday.
Oh, see? He's not old enough to gamble.
Then get in the corner so we can
Sorry, Matt.
All right. So this is obviously a lot of chaos. We do we don't care about Abe. Abe the other day said that I was dead to him, so
what the Abe, get out. You know what, man? Who do you think you are?
We do also have Abe, as always, doing a wonderful job. Maybe or maybe not making us look good. We don't know. There's a live show means no dancing hugs at the end. Maybe we'll see. But that's cool. But we do want to be not super crazy for just 1 second because we do want to make sure that everyone's keeping in mind that, dear, maybe not friend personally, but someone that we all kind of look up to and have a lot of respect for. John Schnepp is currently in the hospital, and we do wish him all the best. And we hope that everything's going well with him and with Holly, his significant other. And if you haven't had a chance to look yet on Twitter or whatever, it's been all over the place. They have a GoFundMe page started. And so if you have any funds that you can donate to the cause, our health system is very expensive in the United States. And even with insurance, it's still really expensive to be in the hospital for a long period of time. So if you have any extra funds, or even if you just want to support emotionally, please, look into that. And all the support of monetary or emotional really does mean a lot to people who are going through this kind of thing. So please make sure you're keeping John and his significant other, Holly, in your minds. And it's really weird transitioning out of that, but we did want to make sure that we opened the show with that just because it is such a big deal to this community, and it's a big deal to all of us in the panel. Because he means a lot to everyone. I mean, he's a really great guy. So we're just wishing him all the best. So with that, we are going to move into matches. Like I said, a little awkward transition, but that's what the summit's about. Awkward transitions. Welcome to the summit. Tagline, awkward transitions.
And it's live.
And it's live.
I wasn't here for the last one, so...
It's even worse. So we do want to get into, just real quick, we're not really even going to discuss the Bibbs versus Snyder match because Bibbs' #1 fan isn't on the summit tonight. But we just want to point out the match did happen.
Guys, listen, I've been studying Chris Clark for years. I know exactly what he would say. Guys, listen, this was a rockin' match. It was the best match since Rob won the Inner Geekdom tournament. Seriously, it was rockin'. I mean, Jeff didn't show up to play, but Bibbs was just rocking. He's gonna rock it to the title. You can find me at Chris Clark 8788. Those numbers mean nothing. Okay, you're all rocking.
I mean, yeah, it's probably
like
what
he's
that's
here with
actually
us.
exactly what he would have said. Except he would have also said something really awkward that would have made us all laugh.
Like that?
All right. Yeah, just like that.
There we go. Between me and Asher Freya.
Yeah,
You got Chris Clark on the side.
This is what you get when you watch it live. Dogs barking and shit. All right. So, the match did happen. And it was obviously a very large knockout. And we don't want to talk about it at all, really, because it's been talked about to death at this point. Everyone's had their say. Everyone's had their opinion. Just go look at Twitter or Facebook. And it's like I couldn't really put a lot of time into this discussion just because it's been talked about so much.
There's nothing to add.
There really isn't. And if you haven't checked out the rundown, they did a really good interview with Jeff where he gave his take on everything. Please do listen to that. He gives his side of what happened. Obviously, he wasn't thinking about strategy at the moment. He was very just in his own head. He was thinking about the game and he messed up. It happens. We're going to move on because there's more that went down in this week. Obviously, we had nothing happened on Friday.
Also, we could just move on because as Ken Knapsack beautifully put it in the JTE 30 for 30 special, it's movie trivia. Effing movie trivia. We could just move on from these things.
It is movie trivia. You're right.
It's not life.
Yeah. But nothing happened on Friday, so we can just...
it was a pretty boring match. Yeah, right.
No, we had the collision. So 5 matches, and not all of them were, per se, the best matches, but a lot went into each match. There was a ton of storyline updates. There was a ton of really great entrances and, K-fob and all that stuff that we love from the Schmoedown. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about each match. Then we're going to talk about the storyline updates and which ones were our favorites. And then we'll have a big discussion about the one. So that can't be your favorite, even if it made Matt sad. But that's fine. So we're going to talk first about the 3-way match between Stacey Howard, Janine the Machine, and Mark Andreyko. I particularly really love this match. Might have been my favorite of part 1. I thought it was just really solid all around. I thought all 3 competitors had really good round 1s. They all had decent round 2s. Round 3 was what it was, but it was a competitive match. All 3 players came into it with good attitudes. There was great K-fob. There was great entrances. It's what you come to when you want to watch the Schmoedown. Let's hear everyone's thoughts. Rob, why don't you start us out? What did you like or most about this 3-way match between Howard, Janine, and Andreyko?
Yeah, I mean, this was still a really good match. Obviously, the winner of this went on to play, or is going to go on to play Ethan Irwin. But realistically, I think these were the best entrances of the entire collision, in my opinion, especially from Janine and Stacey. They both brought it as they usually do. So that was really entertaining to watch. And then the match itself was really interesting too. It was going one way for most of the match, then it switched gears, then it switched back. So it was definitely, maybe not the most incredibly accurate, high scoring, record breaking match, but it was still an intense one because it kept shifting where its focus was going to be.
Absolutely, and that's the thing I love about the Schmoedown is the match doesn't have to be the most high scoring match to be a great match. It can just be one that goes back and forth and has a lot of lead changes or keeps you guessing who's going to win until the very, very end of the match. And I think this one was a great one because it did have all those things that we love about a good Schmoedown match. Matt, what was your take on this one?
You know what the thing is? I feel really bad for all three of the competitors that this was the first match of Collision because so much happened in the next. Well, maybe not the next match. That one we'll talk about, but certainly the third match in this video, and then of course what happened at the end of part 2. Because this was a great match. This is a great triple threat match. All three of the competitors, as you guys said, great entrances. You know, was it super high scoring? No, but it didn't need to be. It was one of those great things that the Schmoedown can do sometimes where it's just like the knowledge is there. Like, even if you're not getting, you're not breaking records, that's fine because they were all having fun and you could feel. Like, I love the bit when Stacy gets knocked out and she throws the wig off and she, like, goes to get up and she's like, I could just sit here? Oh, okay. And she just sits back down. It was hilarious. And yeah, Janine and Mark, it was great. And, this was just a really fun match. I just feel really bad because I feel like if this was its own standalone, like, Friday match, I think we would be able to talk about a lot more. And but I just hate the fact that it's bogged down is probably the wrong word, but it's just a tad, it's kind of like, it's probably like, I can't even think of a comparison. I'm at a loss for words. I was trying to think of a match from Spectacular. Yeah, it was overshadowed. It's kind of like Riley Roca 2 at Spectacular kind of got overshadowed by Murrell and Murrell and Ellis and then Top 10 Patriots. And it was a great match, but it got overshadowed. Well, except for me, because of course, I'm me, but...
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it being the first match out of the gate, it had a lot of opportunity to be just kind of your warm-up match. It ended up feeling like the match of part 1 in terms of the actual match itself, not in terms of story or surprise or whatever. I thought that as an individual match, it was the strongest out of the 3. But we'll get into the match that I think Matt thinks is the strongest of the 3 in a little bit. But that being said, we're going to shoot it over to Malcolm for his thoughts on this one.
It was a good match to start off with because, I watch a lot of wrestling pay-per-views and stuff, and they usually start the way they organise where they place the matches. They usually put like a nice competitive match first, maybe have a couple matches which they may think may not go as good, so that there's like a break for, and then they get into another big match. So there was placed good at the start to kick it off high gear. It wasn't a high scoring match, but it didn't need to be. And I really can't wait to see Andreyko versus Irwin, that's for sure.
Yes, I think that's going to be a great match. I think Andreyko didn't have his best showing in this particular match. However, he doesn't have to every time he shows up. Obviously, he can't have perfect matches. No one can, even Ethan Irwin. I know he has had amazing showings so far, but lest we forget that a lot of people very early in their Schmoedown career, he agrees, have really strong matches and then all of a sudden kind of deteriorate. It happens. Ash is very aware of just how
is a big Andreyko fan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They're all very upset. This is what you get. You have 3 dogs in one house, and there's wildlife all over, and then they bark, and then they make you have headaches. It's
Mom, there's a squirrel. There's a squirrel outside the window.
Or like there's probably deer. But in any case, my apologies for my dogs. Any, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Andreyko, I don't know that he had his best game, but he didn't need it to win, so who the heck cares? But I think he's fully capable of beating Ethan Irwin in a match, especially if he gets something in his round 2 that's a strength of his. So moving on, we're going to talk about match number 2. Yep, it was a match.
It sure happened.
It sure happened. So we're not going to... there's not much to really say about this match, but we are going to talk about it.
Don't you mean there's not really a lot to explain about this match?
Totally what we meant.
What a zinger!
Shut up, Rob.
Totally what we meant.
Yeah. Sorry, Ash. I
Your
apologize.
pun was so bad you upset my dog.
All right, I don't think it was that bad.
It was pretty
right?
bad.
It was pretty bad. We can edit that one out, right? We can edit that out.
Right,
Hey,
this
Rob,
is live,
shut
right?
up.
This is
Okay, but here's the thing. I think for me and my puns, we should have like a scale. Like later, my puns
Ash
are
upsetting
compared
to
to some other ones.
yeah. Okay, so we are going to talk about it though. So this was the Star Wars championship match. Look. I know the score was 25-3. I'm well aware that was the final score. The final score. That's really sad. But Green stepped into this match literally with like 48 hours notice and had never really done anything in the Schmoedown before this. I don't know how often he watches the Schmoedown. I don't know how familiar he is with the format. He had very little notice. You can't really do much to study in that time frame. Anything, the format of the show or the stuff that you are going to be actually competing against. And on the other hand, you have Damon, who has been studying to face Sam Witwer. And if you look at how he studies, because he posts about it a lot, he studies like a crazy person. Like, seriously, I don't understand how they can fit that much Star Wars knowledge into their brains. There was no way Green was going to win this match. Even if he had turned out and been a fairly decent competitor, it's a championship level match. So I don't want to be too hard on anyone in this match. I think he did what he could do, and props for him for showing up and stepping in. And it's good for the show to get some new talent in, especially one with a really big fan base. But we're going to talk about it. So, Malcolm, what was your take on this match? And as limited as it might be, you know, what you think about it?
Yeah, this match was a match. Like, it was like you could tell. I mean, even Green said during the match, like, only a little time to prepare. I mean, I really want to see Green not be deterred from this match and come back when he's more prepared and more ready, because I think he could make waves if he had a good amount of time to prepare. I mean, the whole Whitworth thing threw everyone for a loop, as they had to try and find someone who was available at very short time. And I mean, I agree with them not putting Knapsack or Scrimshaw in there because they just lost enough contenders match. So to lose that and then get inserted into the match would not have been fair. So I mean, Green did good with what he was given, and I mean, Alice and Ken on the desk, it was just a joy to watch, because I mean, Alice kept on making jabs at Ken being the former champion is like, yeah.
Yeah, and look, I completely agree with you. Would it have been a better match if they had included Scrimshaw or Ken Knapsack? Absolutely. I mean, there's really no question there. But at the same time, Alex earned his spot in that final by beating those guys. And then to say, well, we know you earned your spot in the final by beating these guys, but one of them's going to face you in the final anyway. Like, that really cheapens the impact of his win. And it's, you know, it would have been a stronger match, but it also would have then cheapened the work that he did to beat those guys, because that was an incredible match that he beat them in. And he very much deserved to have that win under his record. Matt, what did you think about this one?
Well, I think to go to your point first, I feel like if they'd done that, not only does Alex have the issue of he already played and beat them, but he also already played, beat them, and was preparing to face Sam, which during his post-match interview, he feels very much like Tommy Gunn did at the end of Rocky V, where Rocky retired with the belt, and so the guy who won the belt was kind of a paper champ, and so he didn't really feel until he beat Rocky that he was the real champ, and so I just feel like that would have been, which I think Alex completely understood, and I think, you know, what they did with Sam, although I was annoyed about it, I completely understood why, but I feel like that just would have been another thing to pile on of, like, it kind of would have made his number one contenders match pointless if he's just going to, and especially since it's like Ken or Joseph could, I don't want to say easily, but they could take him and beat him, and I just feel like if he had lost, it just, I would have felt so bad for Alex to, like, he goes and does that in front of the live audience, he's able to keep his cool and win it, and then to have Sam be stripped of the title, and then to play one of the guys that he already beat in the number one, like, but yeah, besides that, I think this was, God, I hate saying that it was a match because I don't want to deter Green. Listen, I understand. He didn't have time to prepare for the one division of the Schmoedown that is focused on one film series solely. So Chris Liskey and his writers go deep into the questions. I should know. Chris Liskey tested the live show questions on me, and I'm a Star Wars nut, and some of them took me for a loop. That's why I wish that it would have been at Collision, because I totally would have went up against Damon. Maybe I would have had the belt. Wouldn't that be so cool if I had the belt? I'm kidding. Alex would have explained my ass off in a Star Wars match. But, puns aside, I am happy that Alex does have the belt as a very, like, since the live event, I actually subscribed to Star Wars Explained, and I've become a really big fan of Alex's recently. Him and his wife Molly are, like, awesome. I actually just binged their playthrough of LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga yesterday. They're awesome, and also that post-match interview, I really, really hope this sets up in December Alex versus Sam Witwer to decide who the champ really is. That would be so cool. I feel like they could do that. Like, I know that's probably not going to happen because Alex is probably going to have to defend the Star Wars belt before that time, but I just wish they could somehow work it out with Witwer to have it beat. Can you imagine? That's the headliner at Spectacular, is, which the Star Wars matches you never have a headliner, but that's the headliner. It's like, who is the Schmoedown Star Wars champion? I would love that. That'd be so cool. But yeah. Green, you did good. Come back.
Right,
You were
please.
funny. You were funny as hell.
He had a great attitude. I mean, when you get beat by that many points, it's really easy to just be super discouraged and leave the table and just be like, well, I'm never doing this again, you know? Like, and he had a great attitude about it. I really appreciated the attitude he had leaving the desk and everything. I thought he was great. And I do want to see him back. Especially if he has other things, like maybe he could just do Inner Geekdom. Like, I don't know. Do you know comic books, dude? I think you got it. You know, I'm sure you're fine. Robert, let us know what you thought about. I'm very distracted. Welcome to the live summit. Let us know what you thought about this match.
Yeah, so there's not a ton to say that hasn't already been said. The first thing is definitely to commend Bruce Green for even like.
Who?
What?
Ben said.
What?
He said Ben said.
Who's Ben?
No.
I don't think he did.
No, I definitely
wasn't
didn't. You're hearing things. I said commend Bruce
I
Green.
thought you said as Ben said. I was like,
No. Open
dead.
let ears. No, so I think you definitely have to commend Bruce Green for coming out with such little notice and still being willing to compete. I think that was just really nice to see a Star Wars match, even if it was the biggest points differential and championship match ever. I think it was still good to see the Star Wars League represented at Collision. And I would definitely like to see Bruce back with enough time to study against somebody like Jenny Nicholson, who competed at Celebration last year. So there's definitely like not necessarily lower tier Star Wars competitors, but people who aren't on the level of Whitwer and Damon and Knapsack. There are other people in the Star Wars League who I could definitely see Bruce taking on in the future. So I definitely want to see him come back, hopefully to the Schmoedown in Star Wars Division against a different opponent.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well. I think that if he had, now that he knows the format and now that he could maybe prepare, he might do better. I mean, that's my thing, is when you come into something completely out of the blue, basically, without time to prepare or anything, it's very difficult to actually do well. It's like, I'm just going to go run a marathon. You know, no big deal. It's 2 days away. I think I'll live. Maybe. I mean, I could, but I could also die on the side of the road from exhaustion. You got to prepare for this kind of thing. Like, this is a big deal. And I do want to see him back. I think he would be a great addition to the Schmoedown as a regular or non-regular competitor, whatever. So that's the end of that match. And then the last match of this first part of the collision was probably like the best in terms of storyline and everything and the shock and awe. And it's definitely the match that should have ended part one. Honestly, it really, really had its place at the end of part one very well. Top build of the part one spot. So this was the match between Andrew Ghai and Dan Murrell. Now this match, obviously, it is what it is. So I just want to put this out there. In our reactions, we react to the character. It's like when you're watching a movie, you react to the character. You're watching the movie and you see the villain and you think, he is a bad guy, I don't like him. But then you say, like, after the movie, that actor played that bad guy very well. I really like that actor. This is kind of like what the Schmoedown is, guys. In our reactions, we react to the character. In real life, they are not their characters, and they're decent human beings. I just want to make sure we point that out, because every once in a while we get comments about, like, all you haters and all that. It's like, it's not that I hate Andrew Ghai. I'm reacting to his character as someone who roots for faces for the most part. So it is what it is. I did want to point that out.
Point also, we sometimes play characters.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's some people who are supporters of some people, and they've had characters that, if you've been watching this channel and you're not new, they've been playing for a while. And they're perfectly decent and kind people, that people who have met them in real life or even just spoke to them on Skype are completely kind and respectful, would never, ever do anything to actually harm them.
Except Matt Kearns.
Except Matt Kearns, correct. Except for when people baa at me, and then I just feel like I'm gonna cry.
Here's the thing, and this is not a joke. I literally almost wrote in the comments part one, I wanted to be like, I'm playing a character, just disclaimer, I kind of regret my actions, because it's literally what I said to Kristen and Malcolm and Jeremy after the reaction. It's like, I went way too far in that opening.
I think you went just far enough. It's all good.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, is our reactions are there for entertainment, and they are our real reactions. Like, we don't fake them, but at the same time we disassociate the character of who's in the Schmoedown from the actual human being, because it's a show. It's there for entertainment. So I did want to put that out there, because the random comments every once in a while are...
I got today from Andrew Ghai.
I can't read that.
It says, Kearns, you were such a savage in this video. It's fucking incredible. That's a message from Andrew Ghai, the GOAT.
All right, so we are going to talk about the actual match and not me covering my butt, because I am super critical of heels in reactions, but it's not how I feel on the inside, guys. It's just because I root for face characters as a rule. So we're going to start it out with Matt, because he's going to talk the most about this match, and that's fine. Matt, you're more than welcome. Please just, let us know what you thought about this match in full detail.
First thing, Howling Wolf, Ghai versus Riley, who wins? As much of a fan of Andrew Ghai as I am, it's Mark Riley. I will never, ever, ever root against him. ever. I don't care what's happening. Never will root against the man. Listen, here's the thing. I was one of, like, I'm going to say at most maybe 5% of the Schmoedown population who I actually 100% believed that Andrew Ghai was going to win this match. Like, and it's, maybe it comes from the thing of, if you guys have been watching the Sum for a While version, I am not a huge Dan Murrell fan. I respect what he has done in the Schmoedown, and I respect him as a champ. And I have always said, when people have talked about who's the GOAT, I've always said Dan Murrell should be considered one of the greats. Having said that, I really wanted Andrew Ghai to win. And I, being someone who I can actually call Andrew Ghai a friend of mine, I know how seriously he takes the Schmoedown. And I know that people, you know, being a fan of his, I know. Listen, guys, this goes back to what Chris was saying. When you say stuff like Ben Bateman is carrying Andrew Ghai is a guy who studies for this stuff. Like, he actually, like, sits down and he mostly watches movies that he doesn't watch anymore. He really doesn't rewatch movies anymore. And I feel like I really wanted him to win, but at most I wanted, you know, it's the Rocky thing. You know, when Rocky's lying in the bed with Adrian and he just says, you know, I just want to go the distance with Creed. Like, that's what I really wanted. I just wanted that. And he did that and more. And as a fan of Andrew Ghai, I just really hope this dispels the haters, because I really would be shocked to find someone who in Team Action's next match, they say, oh yeah, Ben is 100% carrying Andrew's ass. Like, I'd be shocked to say that. Dan Murrell scored 14 points, okay, in this match, okay? That's more than I probably could in a regular Schmoedown match, okay? It's 14. Dude's awesome. And it was his first time back. And let's also remember, the game has, since he last played, has changed a little bit. Like, it has changed. But yeah, I'm so happy as a fan and friend of Andrew's that he won, and he won in, well, let's be honest, in a dominant way that he did. And I also think this should stand as the ultimate example of, just because stats and statistics and things tell you a match is going to go one way, you never, ever underestimate any player in the Schmoedown ever. Because these people who play this game take it seriously, and to underestimate them, I think, is unfair to any competitor. But this was a great match. I loved, the pre-match cutscene. I've been laughing my ass off of it, and certainly after something that happened in part 2, I had to go back and watch this match again just to feel happy. Yeah, great match all around.
So part 1, and I unfortunately I wasn't able to be on the reaction for part 2, circumstances and adult life and stuff like that. While I would have loved to have had the real nice opportunity to watch Matt be very happy in one reaction and very sad in another reaction, I was not able to. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I do think that Andrew has really grown a lot in the competition. I think that honestly, I think he's taken a really good turn in meshing the theatrical aspect of his heel role with actually the trivia as well. Because I think at first a lot of the focus was just on the heel role, and then he kind of turned and made it more into both. And I think that he's playing the game smarter now than when he had started. So I think that, when he had started, maybe people saying like, Ben's holding the team up, whatever, cool, like, sure, fine. The first couple matches they had, Ben played better than Andrew. I think at this point in the game, Andrew is very, very much holding his own, and he's becoming a real threat. And people who don't take him seriously are going to wake up one day and just be like, what happened? Because all of a sudden, Andrew Ghai has like 3 wins under his belt or something. Yeah, and all the respect out to him. He played a great game. Rob, why don't you let us know what you thought about this match?
Yeah, so I personally think this is the biggest upset in Schmoedown history. We've had a couple here and there, but this one takes the cake, I think. I mean, very few people, I bet you less than 30, 40 people total could have predicted this outcome. And that is a testament to the unpredictability of the Schmoedown. You know, when somebody sees a matchup gets announced or sees the thumbnail for a video and comments, "Oh, I already know who's going to win. There's no use in watching this." This match is a testament to why you should watch every second of every match, because you never know who can have a bad day and who can have a good day. And no matter what, it is one of the best parts of the Schmoedown is the unpredictability. And this match absolutely proved that. It was incredibly entertaining, a perfect way to cap off part one. Dan Murrell, still did really well in the match. He gave up 2 seals early in round 2, but in round 1, it was 7-6, I think, at the end of round 1. So both players put up a really good performance. Ghai just had a better round 2, and that really paid off for him. And it was a very entertaining match. And like you were saying, Kristen, both Andrew and Ben from Action have really evolved as players and as performers since they made their debut last year. If you look back at their first match, they're very much heels, but both of them now have proven that they're great as a team, they're great in singles, and they're great heels. They're great performers. They're great entertainers, which is what you want out of a competitor in the Schmoedown. Great at trivia and a great personality to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I completely agree with you. I think that you do have to have the correct balance of, the actual trivia aspect of it, but then the showmanship, which is why when Rachel started out, she had the trivia part down, but she was very reserved. And as she's played, she's grown and she's become a really good person in front of the camera. And she's become an all-around better competitor because of it. Now, some people don't like the theatrical part of it so much, but I mean, that's part of the Schmoedown. It's just what it is. We are going to shoot it over to Malcolm as our last but not least on this topic. Malcolm, what did you a question. What did you think about this match?
Yeah, it was. If you watched our reaction, right after, Matt was just when Munafi, just when me, Jeremy, and Chris were just all sitting there quietly, just with blank stares on our face, just completely in shock. Because I mean, it was a great match. I mean, I hate to say this, but I commend Andrew on his good performance. He did well.
Oh, you motherfucker.
But I mean, it's no easy feat to take down Dan. I mean, Dan has just come back, so I mean, he's probably a bit of a ring rust, but once he shakes it off, he'll be back with vengeance and he'll be unstoppable. So
let's also not forget, this is the first time Dan Murrell has ever been TKO'd.
Correct. And even with this TKO, he has an amazing record because he has only lost matches to people in the finals other than this one.
Let's be honest. He is, like Mark Riley, he has only ever lost to champions.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal.
Until now.
Until now. Oh my God, wait. Riley has something better than Murrell. Oh, this match just gets better and better. It has gifts on top of it. It's like if you're Jewish and Christian during December, you get Christmas and Hanukkah. Oh, this is good. Let's talk about this match again.
Oh my God. Let's do another round. All right, we're gonna move on because Matt's way too happy. We can't have that.
Let's go into the last match, part 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. No.
Yeah, let's go to part 2.
Part 2 started out with, I thought, a really great match because I was happy. So this is Rachel Cushing versus Eric Zipper for the opener. Was this the first game in
Yep.
round 2? It was?
Yeah.
And
First match of
Rachel won. I wasn't surprised. I hope everyone's okay over there.
Live
No,
summits
I
are
wasn't
fun, folks.
really surprised. She's doesn't really, at this point, have a weakness in terms of inner geekdom. She doesn't, I don't think. I think she's pretty much solid on every category. What else can you really say? Rob, as our resident inner geekdom guru, what do you think about the match between Rachel and Derek?
I really enjoyed this match thoroughly. You're absolutely right when you say that Rachel is one of, if not the most well-rounded inner geekdom competitor playing in that division today. And that's absolutely true. You could turn to Inman, you could turn to Donica. You could turn to Mara after her debut. Like, there are other very well-rounded competitors, but I think throughout all of the matches, wins and losses, Rachel has proven she is one of the most dominant players in this league. Eric still did fairly well. He had a fairly good round 1. Got a little bit unlucky with that round 2 spin. Got Star Trek, which has been spun a lot this tournament. And it's a little bit unlucky on his end. I mean, you saw his body language when he got Star Trek. He was just kind of done at that point. He tried, he fought, which is one thing that I really commend about Zipper is no matter what, he really fought to the end, tried to get scraped and fought and clawed for every single point, which was amazing to watch. But ultimately, Rachel came out on top, which was, I think this one was probably the most predictable, well, except for maybe the Star Wars match. This was probably the most predictable match of the collision. But Zipper, I still think he could be a force in the inner geekdom if he studies up on some other categories, becomes a little bit more well-rounded, and I think Rachel's going to go on to win this tournament.
Yeah, and I like Eric Zipper. I think he's got a really good handle on, I mean, a lot of these guys have a really good handle on the comic book categories. Sure. But I do think he needs to study up a little bit on I think every competitor needs to study up on Star Trek except for Jason Minden and Robert Meyer Burnett and Rachel, apparently, at this point, because she really did study up on Star Trek. But every competitor really needs to just go back and rewatch all the Star Trek movies. But I do think if he did study up a little bit more, I think he could be a really good top tier competitor, because even with having some gaps, 14 points against Rachel is pretty dang good. Malcolm, what did you think about this match between Rachel and Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of Rachel. I've always liked watching her matches. It's just been one of those matches which is like Zipper could have just as easily won and forced Rachel to actually answer her third round questions, but just that last question which stumped him. And like, Zipper's good. I mean, a bit more staying, he could get there eventually. And I mean, having Jason Inman on commentary was a good touch, and it was like just really great all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, what more can I really say about how much I loved this match? It was a great match. Matt, maybe you could say it better for me. Did you have any other thoughts about this match?
No, this was a really good match. Definitely Eric and everyone in this tournament alone, Star Trek has been spun in every match. People study it. Don't worry. I'm gonna get around. I'm busy right now, but I will get around to writing more Star Trek questions. So hopefully there won't be any repeats. And also the fact of, like, you guys do realize the guy holding the belt right now that you're playing this tournament to get to, he dresses up as Riker in literally every entrance he has. You should probably study up on Star Trek just in case it most 100% will come up in your match, even in just round 1. Besides that, yeah, you guys said it. This is a difficult thing about going last for matches like this. Rachel came to play. She's showing she really does have this drive in this tournament to go for that belt. And I think I said it on the reaction, and I said it somewhere else. I think more so than the singles belt, the teens belt, I think the Inagita belt is the one that Rachel wants the most. And it's the one that she has not really, like, she's gotten kind of close to, but she hasn't been able to play for it yet, really. And I think she can take it from him, and I love him, and he's one of my favorite Inagita competitors. But yeah, this was a good match, and I'm definitely interested to see how round 2 plays out and to see who Rachel's gonna go up against next.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep bringing this up because I obviously am a big fan of Rachel's, and she's a great person and someone I consider a friend. But like, please take her example as someone who Star Trek was not one of her strengths, and she knew the person she would have to go up against to get the belt. That is one of his strengths. So she studied. Please, other competitors, do your homework. I mean, there are a lot of Star Trek movies, but there really aren't that many Star Trek movies. Just like, take a Saturday and watch the evens, and then take another Saturday and watch the odds. You know, you can have a good movie, bad movie Saturday marathon.
Wait, don't do that as a huge Star Trek fan. Story is going to be real confusing for you if you do that. They're going to be referencing things from a movie that you haven't seen. So, also, as Eve brings up, there are more movies in the MCU than Star Trek.
It's true.
So,
it is accurate. That is
also,
accurate.
Most of them are really good. There's like 2 that are really bad. There's
Really is a strong word.
I'm sorry. Shut up, Rob. There's one that is debatably bad, but is a beautiful looking film with an amazing soundtrack. And then the other ones are really good movies.
No, and I think the issue some people have is that they watched them one time and then they were like, oh yeah, I've seen it. And then they realized that the questions aren't about the general plot. And then they're like, oh shoot, I don't know that. So, you know, it is what it is. But please, Intergeek competitors, I know that everyone has to have a weakness, but this is not a weakness that everyone should have. I feel like way too many people have a weakness of Star Trek. It doesn't take that long to at least rewatch the new movies. There's 3 of them. Half the questions are from the new movies anyway, so.
No, they're not, actually.
Well, I feel like half the questions that are asked are from the new movies, so.
Well, yeah, that's probably because the person who's writing the questions about the old movies has to get his foot out of his ass and done it. Come on, Matt.
I think some of it is because more people have watched the new movies recently, so they want to put ones that are a little bit easier in with some of the ones that are a little bit harder. The old movie questions tend to be a little bit harder just because they're older movies. It is what it is, you know? So we're moving on, and we finally get to the actual main event. The match between Above the Line and the Patriots. This was an Intergeekdom match, an Iron Man match.
Oh my god, it was?
You can fix it in post.
It's live. No. Yeah. They both start with I, and that's enough to confuse me. That's enough to confuse me. Intergeekdom and Iron Man are enough to confuse me at this point in my life. Yep, it was an Iron Man match, and I didn't know how that was going to work with teams. I think that it did work really well with teams. They gave them the 20 seconds to talk it over, and they got to converse and then write down the answer, and you had one person who wrote down the answer. I thought that was good. The speed round worked well as well, and overall, I thought it was a great match. I mean, the Patriots obviously didn't win, but they still showed up. They still played really hard, and Above the Line just had a little bit more of that classical movie knowledge, I think, that put them over the edge. But let's head over to Malcolm. What did you think about this Iron Man match between the Patriots and Above the Line?
Well, I mean, I'm curious to see how all 4 of them will go in the Intergeekdom League, because, I mean, because I never thought they would be really good at the Geekdom players. But in saying that, the match was a exhausting match to watch. It must have been exhausting for them to play. It's like all these questions. Like, I mean, I think all up, when I was playing along, I think I gave up playing along in the middle because I had a long string of not getting anything right. So the fact that they actually knew it was incredible enough. I mean, at this point, I think above the line is unstoppable. I think whoever wins out of Shirewolves and Mills finals are going to have a big mountain to climb later on when they face them.
I mean, I really couldn't have said it better myself. I thought it was just a good match. Matt, what did you think about this one? Should I go to Robert? Robert, what did you think about this one?
It's fine. It's when we get to what happened in the post match, I'll be a lot more quiet and upset. The biggest issue is, as a big Patriots fan, this is gonna sound really, really stupid. There are some times when you wish matches were a little bit more of a blowout, so you could just say, "Oh, they just had an off day." But there were a lot of times when. You can watch our reaction, especially when they're getting very close to the speed run. I just go, "Oh, they're only like 3 points away. They could definitely take it. Like they can do it. They can win it." And then it just, listen, I give it to above the line. They definitely, like you said, Kristen, they definitely had the classics knowledge, which that popped up a lot in the questions. And I think this also does show that, I still think the Patriots should be considered one of the greatest teams, but I think this certainly just showed that the Patriots. I mean, this was the first Team Ironman match. I wonder how this match would have went if it was a regular 5-round team match, because I think the Patriots just in playing, they spent an entire season only playing team matches. They really sort of nailed down, how to do a team match. But you know what? Again, I give it to Sam and Drew. I am interested to see, because this is gonna sound really bad to say. And again, you can take this as just me being like a Patriots fan and say what you will. This is their second title defense. I don't think it was super dominant. Like, they definitely at a certain point did have it, but I think Jeff and JT were on their heels a lot. So I can't quite say that they're totally dominant. And then also, like I said, there's also the game part of the Schmoedown that wasn't really here. Here it was just trivia. There wasn't a wheel. There wasn't, except for the speed round. So, I'm interested to see in the World's Finest or Shire Wolves, whoever ends up winning that number one contenders match, who they play. I'm interested to see the next title defense. Yeah, but this match was a little bit more barred by things that happened in the post match for me, certainly. Wow, I rambled on for a real long time there. I apologize.
A little bit. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. What's the summit for if not to have Matt ramble on? Robert, what did you think about this one?
This was an interesting match. I personally don't think that the Iron Man format suits a team match incredibly well. I think it was still an entertaining match. I think Above the Line really showed why they are the definitive team champions. I think Patriots showed why they were champions for a year and a half. I think both teams played well, but I think it was. I think I would have preferred to see this match be a normal 5-round championship match. With teams, when you have both players conferring on every single question, that's definitely knowledge versus knowledge of the two teams. But I think that a normal 5-round match would have been a little bit better to test not only just pure knowledge, but also the game a little bit more, because the Patriots and Above Line were 1-1 each. I just definitely prefer the Iron Man style in a 1v1 format as opposed to a 2-on-2. Maybe it's because it takes a little bit longer. Maybe it's because of, you have to find a question that neither competitor knows for anybody to like start accumulating a net total of points again. It was just a little bit of an off match for me. I still really, really enjoyed watching, still really enjoyed the speedrun, still love Drew's reaction at the end. I was cheering for Above the Line the entire time. I just don't think the Iron Man format quite fits with the team match for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked it in terms of how many fantasy points I got.
I'm beating you. I got 70.
I know you. I don't care how many you got, Abe. I'm just excited that I got points.
I had Damon on my
I was just so excited. And so, yeah, I liked the format in terms of how it worked. I think that it was they transitioned it well into teams, I think. I get your point though about liking the traditional format better. It certainly brings a little bit more gameplay and strategy into it than the actual Iron Man match did. But at the same time, I kind of appreciated that it was very much like back and forth and kind of like it felt like a fight instead of a match. It was I really kind of liked it a lot. But that's okay. That's what opinions are for, guys. And we're all allowed to have our own. Anyway, all right. So that was the match itself. Abe, I know you're probably our biggest Above the Line fan that's on the summit at the moment.
Yes.
Did you want to say anything about this match?
That they're the best.
Good. Well, you know what? I think that's the best way to end.
Wow, that was
the
a
match.
good bet.
I don't have anything to say. I think it shows that the Above the Line is one of the best teams of all time, just behind the Patriots. But in terms of knowledge, they are the best. So one-on-one, that for me, it was the best way to settle the battle. Like who's the real best in trivia terms.
You faked that. Okay.
All right. Well, that's perfect. So we are going to move on to storyline discussions. We're going to talk about the end of this match, but we're going to save it to the very last because I want to torment Matt even more than I've already done. So what we're going to do, there were so many cutscenes, so many. I'm going to list them off. Please just pick one or two to talk about. If someone talks about yours, you can still talk about it if they didn't bring it up your point. But like, let's try and talk about them all. But like, just pick a couple, and then we'll round robin this because there are way too many for us to talk about each individual one, and everyone talk about each individual one. So we got Ben took Cal. I don't know. And then we have the follow-up cutscene of Ben getting banned from the collision. You have Snyder bumping Thad after he gets on the phone, which I laughed my butt off to. Jay gets a note, a mystery note. Then you get the cutscene between Dan and Andrew Ghai. Then you get the cutscene of Dale the Dude meeting his number one hero, Dan Murrell. You get the cutscene Matt will choose, Ghai just walking around. Then another really good one, Johnny LaCosta.
LaQuasta.
I was close, guys. He got to be at the desk, but not really. And then I count Mike Kalinowski coming out to the desk as a cutscene, but even though it's not, still a cutscene in my opinion. Then you get Mark Donica getting a note, you get Tom getting a note, and then another thing I count as a cutscene, even though it was during post-match, Lion's Den is no longer the Lion's Den. I would like to talk about that one, so I'm going to do it first.
Oh, would you?
I would. I would just like to say, and I'm not going to go on and on because I think Matt also wants to talk about this. What? Okay. So I'm not going to go on and on about this. I just want to say a few short words. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. And that's all I have to say. So, all right, we're going to go around the board. Malcolm, of those two cutscenes, pick a couple and just talk about what you liked about them and how they progress the storyline. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna touch on the Lion's Den one, the Lion's Den cutscene as well, because it's just one of those ones like Ken finally is sick of Tom's shit. Whether or not he's going back to being phased, it's yet to be seen. Because like Donica was nowhere to be seen. There's nothing sort of said. It's assumed he's probably going to go with Ken because he wasn't that all dead during the match. But like Ken tells off Tom, walks away. Then I actually considered a big shock, even though I did think what may have happened if Patriots lost. You've got Schneider walking away from the Lions Den as well. And I mean, it's one of those ones that was probably the biggest shock because like it was one of those ones you look at JD as like, is he going to stick with his team partner or is he going to stick with his manager? And he ended up sticking with the manager. And one's way I think this could end up being JT and Tom, I forgot his name for a second there, versus the new box office breakdown for the rights to use that team name. And it'll be the other one is the Johnny LaCrusto scenes. Like that one, that cutscene happened. I could kind of see that it was going to happen because I'm pretty sure in the post-match when Fad was telling Mike about him facing Cushing at Collision, he changed it up. I'm pretty sure they already said that Mike was going to be on the announced team there. So I thought, well, mate, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be Mike and DeCrusto on the thing. So that one confused me a little bit when it showed that Mike wasn't on the desk and then he came out. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I really do actually want Johnny to be on the desk because it's what he does. Like for realsies. I want him to be on the. Can we do that? Can that happen? A follow-up on your comments about the Lion's Den. I told you so. I told you so. Robert, what did you think about the cutscenes and storylines that happened during the
Collision? The thing I'm going to touch on is just the continuation of the corruption storyline of a bunch of people getting envelopes. You know, you can kind of lump them all together between Donica and Tom and everybody who's got an envelope thus far. That obviously has his big one. Ken had his a little while ago. Everybody has a corruption envelope. And I just think that I absolutely love the way that the Schmoedown and Christian and all the other masterminds behind the scenes of all the storylines, I love how they are playing this corruption storyline out, mainly because they're not giving it to us right away. This started probably, DC Movie News versus Action was, a month ago? Maybe a little bit more. So the corruption storyline has been going for just over a month, and I love that they just haven't given us any answers at all. That the suspense is just building. What's in those envelopes? What could Kalinowski possibly have on Jay Washington or on Tom? You could have a lot on Tom Daddy or on Mark Donica. Like the fact that we're not finding these things out yet, but we know that we will down the line because we have trust in Christian. We have trust in the people who are running the show. I am just so pumped to see where this storyline continues to go from here. Now that we know Kalinowski has little puppet strings on like 7 different people.
Yeah, I mean, every single like cutscene where there was a note involved, I was just like, this is genius, honestly. Like, it's such a good storyline because you can shoot it at any time, and all it requires is there to be a piece of paper with a thing on the back. Like, it's just you don't even need to say anything during the cutscene. You just have someone reading a note. It's genius. It's seriously, they did a really great job with this. I 100% agree with you, Rob. Matt, you can talk about the Lion's Den thing if you want. Is there anything else that you want to talk about though outside?
Well, I already touched on the Andrew Ghai "Let's Go Motherfucker" scene. Cracked me up. I made the GIF of it because it's hilarious. Dale the Doom beating Dan, just on the thing of, hey Christian, what the Riley competed in free for all. Where was this cutscene? Wouldn't that have been great to film when I was there? Just, a little bitter, but it's okay. No, I'm kidding. That was a great cutscene. Okay, so let's rewind the clocks back to January of this year. We did a bunch of
Rewinding the clocks.
Yeah, okay. We did a bunch of I feel like the Joker. Let's wind the clocks back to January. We did a ton of top 10 Schmoedown videos. One of the ones we did was
We did 4.
we did 4. Okay.
Tons.
We did
A multitude.
Schmoedown teams. Of my top 5, one actually remains, and the other one is kind of iffy. Every other team that I love is no more. Okay. The one saving grace is JT walked off of Tom, because if JT walked away from Tom, I think I literally would have broken down, because this is a BS here, man. God, Tom's a winner. Everyone who left him, bottom line, they're losers. Okay, Jeff, you're a loser. Ken, you're a loser. Donica, you don't even count in this league. Tom Dagnino is this league, and I'm joining with all the belts, and we are going to create, with Tom Dagnino and JT, the Gucci squad. Just wait for it, all right? We're going to do it. Sure, do we live in different states? Heck yeah. But as Aragorn, I'm not sure, once said in a Lord of the Rings movie, you have my sword, Tom Dagnino. You have my sword.
And you have John's axe, because he'll join you in that. Yeah. I mean, in general, I think the cutscenes were great. I do really love during the reaction when Snyder bumped into Thad, we all just broke down laughing, because it was just such a stupid moment, but it was so perfect. It was a great character moment for Jeff, and Thad was just so happy, and then all of a sudden just coffee everywhere, it was really funny. It was great, kind of slapstick. I really
did something right.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. That sounds really bad. But in terms of the Lion's Den thing happening, I did kind of see it coming. How it happened, I did not. I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was literally just going to be a breakup of the Patriots. I didn't think it was going to be a breakup of the entire den. So I did like that twist there. But yeah, I think this one has been in the works for many months.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And actually, tying back to the letters, that was a payoff from the letters for Ken and Donica. And that is,
Yeah,
Can we also just say
everyone.
the bit, Tom gets the letter, killed me. He's just laying on the couch.
Right.
I feel like that's actually what Tom does at Collider. They'll get off movie talk and they're like, Tom's just on the couch.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So I loved the cutscenes. I think the story in the collision was almost the star of the collision. Really, it was. And that all leads us to the actual star of the collision, which was the WTF moment that came at the very, very end, the announcement of the team tournament Anarchy. And I don't think anyone saw this coming, although my husband did make sure to point out to me that, oh, that's like a WWE thing. It's completely normal. I saw it coming. I'm like, no, you didn't see it coming. Get out of here. He agrees.
Right. Your dogs are so bad, they're like, John didn't know shit.
he never knows. Daddy doesn't know anything. Yeah, I mean, really.
Throwback, for crying out loud. He doesn't know anything.
My dad doesn't know anything. But yeah, I guess it's I don't watch a lot of wrestling, but a very WWE thing. Good for them. I mean, that's cool. I think this is ridiculously interesting. If you remember the last tournament, things started to fizzle out a little bit, the excitement of it. And I don't know if it was just the length of the tournament, or at some point, I think we all kind of started realizing that the tournament was above the lines to lose. I think by like round 2, I was like, shoot, above the line's going to win this whole thing, aren't they?
In defense of one of my favorite teams, you had on that end, you could say that, but you also had Team Action like setting their place as the heel team in that tournament. They really, that's where they stamped their foot.
There was a lot of great things that happened in that tournament, but I think the excitement started fizzling out. Yeah.
I think this was the best thing to happen because I think, look at any show that has, that has stayed long term and has remained good. So not like a Simpsons or a Family Guy. Look at Star Trek: The Next Generation. That show stayed on the air for 7 seasons. You look at shows like that, and what you see is, when you look at episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation from season 7 to season 1, they're doing different things. They're trying different things because you have to keep, every so often, you have to try something new to sort of re-energize everyone. And I think this, for me as a big fan, I think this is so awesome. And I'm so excited because we don't know who the teammates are going to be. I really did kind of like Chris Clark's, a lot of his. I would love, like the Matt Nost, Andrew Ghai one. They're 2 of my favorites, and that team would be amazing on the mics. So it's Schmoedown gods. Can you actually make that happen? But I think this is such a cool thing for the Schmoedown because I think on top of just everyone, try to guess the brackets of who's going to win. Now it's, try to guess who the team-ups are going to be and then try to guess who's going to win. And because of course the champions at the time can enter into the tournament, if World's Finest, Shire Wolves, or Above the Line, who is ever holding the belt, decide to go in, would we see the team champs sort of split up into their own group? Like, I wonder if the team champs this year would even be allowed to enter the tournament, actually. But that's what I love, is that we literally don't know. And this is so awesome.
No, I mean, I agree. I think there's so much excitement about this tournament now. And so many points have been speculation on what the teams are going to be. Those posts are going to be going on for like months. And I would love for this to be something where they start revealing it like slowly, like you get a couple teams revealed through cutscenes or whatever.
These are your cutscenes so cool. Instead of the letters. Instead of the letters, it's Ellis or it's Thad. They pull 2 more names and they're like, here's your team. Like, that's what you need to lead up.
That would create so much buzz for each of those new teams, because each time a new one's revealed, you start speculating their strengths and weaknesses. You start thinking about how well they'll do together on a mic, and who could they possibly go against, and if there's a rivalry within the team, how they're going to work together. I mean, this is like rife with so much speculation and posts.
What
and
if we get
talking.
Like Jeff Snyder?
I can't wait.
And John Roca on a team together.
That would
That's
be ridiculous.
the dream.
That would be so ridiculous.
That is the dream.
Ridiculous.
It's the dream.
I mean, the dream for me is that I get
the other thing is
Riley and Clark on a team together, and we just get Lindsay Steele again.
I don't think
remember when they lost.
But we do.
Riley and Tom.
Let's hear what Malcolm has to say about this. What did you think about the announcement of the Anarchy team tournament?
Yeah, this is an interesting thing because, I mean, like, there's just got all these questions here because we don't know for sure if it's going to be a permanent change or if it's going to be like after they lose, they can go back to their usual partners if they're both out. But I mean, this is one that's like it makes the number 1 contenders match between the Shire Wolves and the World's Finest a must win, and it makes then it makes Above the Line and Shire Wolves a must win because whoever is champion at the time is pretty much safe. All the other teams are not, but one team up I really would like to see, because for good storyline implications, is that is Roca and Ghai forced together in a team, as well as we could actually get JTE and Jeff Snyder actually forced back into a team.
Yeah, I think that, there's just so many potential combinations. And I think there's going to be some surprises, like people who are brought back that haven't played in a while. I mean, if I was the commissioner, that's what I would try and do. But I'm not the commissioner. Or am I? I'm not. Rob, Rob, what did you think about this announcement here?
KO Eruption, first off. KO. It's the same initials as Kristen Smith. What's happening? Okay. No, I'm really excited for this. Definitely there's lots of dream matchups that we want. There's some there's some great rivalries that we could have enemies teaming up. We could have two random players teaming up. Like, who doesn't want to see like Andraco and Mance or something like that? Like, there are really good, or like Lon Harris and Ethan Irwin. Or, there are just so many dream matchups that you can think of, which is why I'm so excited. And I agree completely. They should tease these teams one at a time, slowly throughout time, so that we can really take our time. Each time a new one is announced, we can theorize about it until the new one is announced. So I don't want them to all I don't want to just get a giant drop of every single team and the entire bracket right away. I want that to be sort of over time, hopefully, which is what I hope it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And think about all the talking points we would have for future summits if they announce them individually. Matt's had to step away. He wants us to talk about how we can see players who have done singles be in players who have only been in singles can be in teams.
Like Cody Miller and Finstock. There we go.
Yeah. That's a weird team.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I kind of want to see it. We also had a question in the chat. Do you think that the live thing tomorrow, because there's going to be a live announcement or something, do you think it's going to actually just be that they're going to stream the match live for the first time, or it's going to be a live match? I personally don't think that they'll ever do like a live match, because there's a lot of
match. Yeah,
like an actual live match. I don't think they're going to do outside of those specials. In terms of them like just streaming a match live, maybe they could do it. I mean, there's no reason why they can't. Do I think that's what it's going to be? No, but I don't know what it's going to be. So, Rob, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what that announcement on Tuesday is. I mean, really all we know about it is it's going to have Sam Levine. So maybe that's him defending the singles title. Or maybe it's like he's breaking up with Drew and he's taking custody of both belts. We don't know. I'm excited to find out either way.
Hold on, baby. Yeah, I mean, it literally could be anything. I know you wanted the whole panel to talk about it, but I got to eat dinner. We have a very special person, guest thing. Vinny is jumping in to do our fantasy updates. What happened in fantasy this week, Vinny?
Yo, what's up? Well, the first thing to talk about is the fact that Tom Dagnino finally dropped all those freaking losers from his faction, and he's just going to go and he's going to freaking rule it, okay? That's first and foremost. But now time for your day 3 fantasy updates with me, Vinny. Okay, so in first place, we got Super Epic X Team with 551 points. In second place, suckers. In second place, we got Immortals and Schmoeboys. And them Schmoeboys, they got 445 points. In third place, we got Team Dog, masquerading as a corgi, with 426 points. Then, ooh, look at this. In fourth place, we got Matt, the loser, the Yodi Alliance, with 335 points. Then we got in fifth place, Chrissy the Clock with the Penguins with 318 points. Then we got in sixth place, something I like to call Abe all the time, Tiny Garrett's with 291 points. Then we got a guy who, like, I don't even think I should mention on Fantasy Updates, that Movie Geek. He's got only 192 points. I don't know what team he's got. I probably should, but you probably should pick better, dude, next time, okay? And now on to Take 3 trades. Nobody's freaking traded nothing. Why would anyone trade? They got good teams. Okay, so that's it for your Take 3 fantasy update. You can follow me, Vinny Stallone, at Vinny Stallone76 on Twitter, okay? You can ask Rob. I tweet a lot about Stallone, and it's all freaking beautiful, except for this, I just got to say this on a video, Pop-Tarts. You listening to me? My lawyers are getting in contact with you. You stole my slogan, okay? I said it to a dude. His name was Larry in a bar a couple weeks ago. Lo and behold, I find out he's an advertiser for Pop-Tarts and totally stole my line. So, yeah. Peace out. Dagnino forever.
Well, that was a sign out. And with that is the end of our live summit. We want to thank you guys all for watching. We also want to...
Can I say something?
Oh my God, Abe, what?
I'm sorry, I just received a letter.
Oh my God! Oh my, you evil man!
Corruption.
Say? Can you tell us what it says?
What does it
Corruption
say?
has the same amount of letters
What's in the letter?
Week. Some.
The word corruption has the same number of letters as the letters in Kristen Smith.
What's in the letter?
Very confirmed.
What's in the letter?
All right. All right. Well, with that bombshell, we're going to figure out where you can find all the lovely people on our panel. Rob, thanks for joining us for your first summit, I think, as a member of Take. As an official Take 3 member.
As an official Take 3. I thought you this is my first summit. Oh, sorry. No. Yes, I really appreciate thank you for inviting me onto the team. I'm really happy to be here. You can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at RBRTPRKR98. It's my first and last name, no vowels plus a year. And other than that, make sure you go support all of the rest of the lovely people on this panel. And yeah, keep rocking, guys. That's my Chris Clark.
Come on, man.
Oh, okay. Well, everyone's going to try their best Chris Clark impression since we miss him so much. Malcolm, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on Take 3 hosting Rankum. There's no episode next Monday because I'm actually away on holiday. But I'll be back the week after. But and you can find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust. At Melkor, and make sure you donate to John Schnepp's GoFundMe. It's going to a good cause, and we want him to get better.
Yes,
absolutely, 100%. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. You can find the links like all over Facebook and Twitter, pretty much everywhere. If the link's not in our description, we'll put it in the description so that that's even easier for you to find. Abe or someone, do that. Thank you. And last but not least, Matt Kearns.
I kind of hate saying this after following that because, guys, please go and support John Schnepp and Holly. But Brooklyn in the chat just killed it with this comment. Does Vinny speak English? ? Gonna need to invest in some subtitles.
It's true. It's accurate. All right.
You hear that? But you guys can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, Matt Movies 611 on YouTube, and right here hosting Second Look. And guys, next month I am doing an episode on The Karate Kid. If you want to come on and talk about it, email me at MatthewJKearns5@gmail.com and tell me why you think you should be my guest to talk about this amazing movie that we all love so much. And it's the 1984 version, not the Jackie Chan thing. Not to say that was a horrible
not that there's
movie,
anything wrong
it's the
with
original. It's the original. So yeah, and you can also, if you're at Comic-Con this week, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have my own panel for Take 3. So if you know, but I'm not gonna have a panel, of course. But if you want to meet me, I'll be walking around. So want to come up and say hi to me, you can do that. You want to sign autographs? $50 a pop. Photos are going to be $100. I'm a diva, so
Yeah, he'll pay you to get your signature.
There you go,
Rob.
There you go.
What?
That's what we like. All right, and I guess me. You can find me as always, Smith_K10, the number, not the word, on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, all the things. I'll post on Stardust at some point in my life again. But you can still find me there, and I have some funny
I deleted that.
I have some really funny posts.
Reactions.
I did have to delete it, but it's because I switched from iPhone to Android. So
Oh, I just got bored of it.
I just have to re-download it, and I keep forgetting. In any case, well, I'm sorry, you guys didn't need to.
God.
This is live. Jeez.
This is why we don't do this, guys.
This is why we don't do this live. You can also find me that. You can find that.
Fuck, they're killing themselves.
It's the deer, Mom. It's the deer. It's the deer. It's the deer. Hey guys, listen. You
can find that happening pretty much all day, every day. But you can find me on the summit hosting for another week or two. Yep. And then
corruption takes over.
Yep, that's what's gonna happen. And
Kristen is gonna explode.
I can't think. Yeah, I might. I can't. There was something else I wanted to plug. Oh, please listen to the Blunderdome that happened on the top 10 Escape Plus that they just put out. Because I hear that they really go after me in it, and I think that's hilarious. So please listen to it and laugh at my expense.
Why, Kristen? I can't imagine why they would do such a thing.
So they go after me and my good buddy Chris Alexakos, and I think that you all should go and listen to it because I think it's hilarious. So please go listen to it. And those guys are great, and please support them as well. And that's all I had to say. Abe, anything from you, sir?
I just want to say that cheese is overrated.
Okay. All right. And with that, that's the end of the summit. Thank you guys all for watching. We hope you all had a fun time. We know we did, and we hope that you all take care.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you are sleeping. While you far away from dreaming.